This is an important message for beekeepers regarding your money. Here it is, March 3rd, and towards the end of winter, my colonies are getting really small. And I keep trying to tell you guys the reason why my colonies are getting small. And I'm not getting very many views, not very many subscribers. Why are my colonies getting really small? Well, let me show you. Having had colonies die during the spring because of crop farmers spraying toxic chemicals in the state of Michigan, and having an inspector come out and take samples and a month later tell me, yes, my bees died from the toxic chemicals that Theron Eicher used. 2019, they confirmed the crop farmer killed my bees, and then a month after that, now it's August, they told me the crop farmer did nothing wrong. That's the corruption, okay? The corruption of your government, America. And then the reason why the bee industry doesn't say too much, go to Better Bees 2023 catalog, page 74. Varroa mite management. All the things you need to do to get rid of varroa mites. It'll cost you about $50 per colony. And then they try to scare you with these big pictures of varroa mites. Alright? I use acylic acid to get rid of varroa mites. It's very, very cheap. This right here, got this Walmart.com. About, I don't know, $30 per 10-pound bag. And I use a Varrox vaporizer. I had two of them, but one burned out, so I'm in the market for doing something different this year. But I got rid of varroa mites. My bees are dying towards the end of winter. Why? Because the toxic chemicals the farmers use all summer long is in the hive. Okay, it's in the wax, it's in the pollen, it's in the honey. It's causing the bees not to live very long. Okay, if you know what 2B is, we have Roku here. My wife and I have Roku. 2B, the pollinators. I've been waiting to see this, and I wasn't going to pay to watch it. Watch the pollinators, okay? It's basically the major commercial beekeepers, the ones that take their bees out to California almonds, talking about the chemicals causing problems with the honeybees. But they're not doing anything about it. They still love that money every year. And I keep suggesting in some of my videos, do a pollinating strike, you dumbasses. My God. I mean, the bee industry is a big scam. You got companies like this that sell you products to get rid of varroa mites. Do they ever mention the toxic chemicals in their catalog? Do they tell you? You can do everything possible to keep your honeybees alive. And if you live around a bunch of crop farmers, your bees are going to die. So all that money you spent trying to get rid of varroa mites are going to kill your bees from the toxic chemicals, not the varroa mites, okay? The varroa mites are not killing your bees. If you have crop farmers in the area, if you see these idiots, these assholes on tractors every spring out there doing planting with sprayers and stuff on their tractors, okay, those chemicals are getting into your hives. I know firsthand, all right? I've been doing this for 10 years. Every spring I notice some of my bees ending up on the ground going like this. Okay, neonics, all right? So I'm trying to make this video short. I showed you some bees. Everybody wants to see honeybees. Okay, you got people on YouTube like Vinyl Farm, David Burns. Do they talk about the toxic chemicals? Do a YouTube search. Toxic chemicals killing honeybees. How many YouTubers do you see talking about this? You see my videos, but do you see Vinyl Farm, David Burns? No, Vinyl Farm wants to talk about bee barns, and David Burns wants to talk about a bunch of other stupid shit, like certain things you can use for this and that. They're getting advertising money from the corporations. They don't want to piss off their corporate sponsors. I'm not making any money doing this, okay? Well, the reason that I'm so pissed off with Americans, okay, why am I so pissed off with Americans? Okay? Because you guys don't seem to fucking wake up. I'm trying to wake you up because my life is miserable because all the shit the chemical corporations are doing to us. My wife has had a double mastectomy. I've had to kill a dog because she had idiopathic epilepsy. She'd be out here having seizures. This went on for like 3 months. And I tried for 2 months with different vets, trying to find a vet that actually give a shit about my dog. And I wanted to know why your dog's doing this. And I could never get any answers. They just tell me, well, it's been going like this forever. That's the way it is. There's nothing you can do about it. All right? I wanted to keep looking for vets, but I wasn't given enough time. My dog was suffering. I killed her, okay? I did that about 4 weeks ago. It's been a month now, and I'm still hurting because of it. Why the hell are Americans so stupid? Your government is making your life miserable. Who took the jobs away from this country? NAFTA, China and World Trade Organization. Your government did it because the corporations wanted them to do it, all right? Why are our bees dying? Because of all the toxic chemicals these crop farmers put in the environment. You watch that documentary, The Pollinators. Those chemicals are in the environment for many years after they were used, all right? And I went 2.5 weeks with my female dog, Sasha, being gone, and I couldn't take it anymore. I went out and I bought another. This is an Aguda Siberian Husky. Her name is Natasha. I don't want to forget Sasha, so I named her Natasha. So every time I say Natasha, I think of Sasha. But get back to this. Most of my colony losses are during March and April, and the reason why is because the bees are they're not healthy. They die earlier than they normally would. A healthy bee will live 5 to 6 months during the winter. My bees will live 3 to 4 months because of the toxic chemicals in their hive. See, bees dying due to toxic chemicals. Who's telling you that on YouTube? It's not Vinyl Farm or David Burns. It is Peaceful Mind Bees. All right? See, the toxic chemicals weaken the bee's immune system, and then the varroa mites will get on the weak bees, and the weak bees can't defend against the varroa mites viruses that they carry. And then the colony gets small, and then the bad weather, if it's cold and wet in the spring especially, they can't get restarted or rebuilt because it's too cold. You know, you can give them all the pollen substitute you want. I've been using AP23 the last 2 years. It doesn't make any difference. It warmed up in January and February, and they started to take this. And I just checked yesterday. Here it is, March. They stopped using it. This will not make your bees do brood. All right? The weather will make your bees do brood, not a pollen substitute. So if I get another cold spring like it was last year, I'm going to lose more colonies. I'm down to 99. All right? And why do I not get a lot of views? Because Americans can't handle criticism and will not listen to the truth. Every time I talk to somebody new around my area and try to tell them what's going on, they'll spew out a bunch of propaganda they hear on their TV, and they don't want to listen to what I have to say. You know, you guys don't seem to realize the U.S. government is the Nazi empire 80 years ago. George W. Bush killed 1 million people in Iraq, okay? So maybe Hitler killed more people, but George W. Bush is coming up second or third, well, after Stalin. So maybe he's third or fourth. I don't know. But you guys don't seem to realize the United States is the evil empire. And you may not be affected by now, but eventually you will suffer when the rest of the world puts an end to the evil U.S. empire. And that's happening right now. You guys just don't realize it's happening because it's happening so slow. In the greed of the rich, which is causing all these problems, they want to take down Russia because Russia has a great amount of natural resources. And the rich people, they want to get in there and take over those resources. And Russia's going to fight back. Russia's not going to lose. And they want to take down China because China's rising. And if you watch Ray Dalio, D-A-L-I-O, Dalio, okay? And you watch the Duran on YouTube, you can get information. Stop watching propaganda. So if you're not affected by it now, you will be eventually, or your children will be. And it's going to affect your money. They're after your money, okay? They intentionally, the rich people, they want you to get sick. They want you to get heart disease. They want you to get cancer. They want you to get diabetes. Why? Because when you go to that hospital, the rich people have invested a lot of money, and you see the rich people's name on the hospital. They're not doing it from the kindness of their heart, or rather the kindness of their heart. They're doing it because they're getting rich off that. They make a lot of money. I know firsthand. My wife's chemotherapy is thousands of dollars every time she went in there. And of course now they own her house basically because of if you have insurance, if you have health insurance, they're still going to get all your money, all right? Everything in this country is a scam for the rich people to get richer, all right? So trust me. if you're watching people on YouTube like Vinyl Farm and David Burns, and they're not mentioning the toxic chemicals, they're corporate-sponsored beekeepers, okay? They're getting their money from advertising. And where does that come from? It comes from the corporations. And if you're trying to trust your beekeeping supply store, how many times do they mention toxic chemicals in their catalog, all right? They're selling all these products here. They enjoy it. When a new beekeeper starts out and they got to buy all this stuff, you know, when they got to buy this stuff here to start beekeeping, they make a lot of money off that. I know a lot of people that gave up after a few years of beekeeping and they wasted a lot of money. But for this company here, Better Bee, who got the money that these people wasted? Better Bee, all right? So it's a big scam. And don't trust your local government to help you. Your local government's corrupt. They're going to lie to you, all right? And if you're feeding your pet food that contains crops grown in the United States like corn, soybeans, okay, GMO, genetically modified plants can handle the chemicals that they put on them. It's absorbed by the plant. It's in our food. A few years ago, they made a big deal about Roundup in the kids' cereal for maybe a couple weeks on the news, and that was it. Other than that, nobody gives a shit, okay? Your dogs and cats are getting the crap that they can't feed us, and the crap that they're feeding us, we shouldn't be eating. So if you're eating processed food from a factory and you're getting fat, you're going to end up getting cancer more likely than somebody that's not eating that shit. And that's what they want. They want you to end up going to the hospital, and they act like, oh, we're going to save you. We're going to give you these treatments like they're doing you some kind of a fucking favor when all they're doing is making money off of it, all right? So wake up, America.